Hello everyone and welcome to Excel Part 6. In this video we're going to talk about absolute referencing, we're going to talk about how to fill series, I'm going to talk about things you should consider while printing, and how to show formulas after you have some numbers in there. So grade 9s, we have this table already done, and I just basically cut and paste this from a Word document in here because I just want to talk to you a little bit about how we would do something like this very easy. You notice here how there's numbers 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, and so on. It's going up by 100. If you wanted to do that, you could very easily do that without having to put too much effort into it. Okay, so I wanted to go up by 100s. So I'm going to go into Fill, and it's a series. I want it to go down my column. I want it to go up by 100s, and I want it to stop at, let's say, 1,000. When I hit OK, it'll do that for me. It was so much less work than, let's say I had hundreds and hundreds of numbers I need to put in there. And I can copy it. Same with that number 4. And so on and so forth. So again, that was some fill series thing. Another thing you can do with fill series is the months or the weeks, the days of the week. So if I put January here, and let's say I want it to go across the sum. Let's say I want all the months going across. Let's go fill series. It's going to go by date. I'm going to go by month. And let's see what happens. There we go, I can just drag it across. So, and again, you'll notice this column is too small, so I'll just make it wider. I can do the days of the week, Monday, and let's say I want to go down this time. Let's go fill, series, columns, date, weekdays. Okay, I can just fill it down, and there you have it. So Excel does really cool things. That was fill series. Now the other thing I wanted to really talk to you about, and I'm going to just delete some stuff here. Delete this entire... Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was absolute referencing. We had talked about relative referencing when we copy this formula down from before. Let's pretend there was no formula in here. And I wanted to copy it down. I would just grab my handle and copy it down. But let's say I didn't want it to copy and have this divided by this, and then this divided by this. Let's say I wanted them all divided by the same number. Let's pretend these numbers weren't here. And let's pretend every single test was out of 50. Let's say none of this was there. And let's say this column wasn't even here. Okay, so let's say down here we had out of 50. All the tests were out of 50. And I would do my formula here. So remember, it's going to be equals this cell divided by 50 because I wanted to get the average. So that was pretty easy. But if I copy this down, what's going to happen is it's going to do the relative referencing thing again. So it's going to say one cell to the left divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells below. It's giving me an error because when you look at the formula, it's C5, which is right, divided by D11, which is one below that one. So in order to get this to be an absolute reference, we have to put some dollar signs around the number that we want as a constant. So we want this 50 to be the denominator every single time. So I'm going to put dollar signs around the D to say always look at D. And beside the 10, I'm going to put a dollar sign, which indicates to Excel, I always want you to look at row 10. So always look at D10. So now when I copy this formula down, it's going to say C5 divided by D10, and then C6 divided by D10. So that's called an absolute reference. Okay, so if I ask you to print this, there's a couple things I want you to look at. When you go into print, I want you to always print preview because Excel does weird things. It could sometimes split your tables onto more than one page. So go into page setup and always go fit one page by one page tall. And that way you're sure that it's going to print on one page, unless it's really too big and you need to go on 2 pages. But for the purposes of the most of the things we're going to do in this course, again, go into page setup, fit 1 page wide by 1 page tall. Okay? Sometimes you might want to choose the landscape version as well. If I asked you to put your name in a header or footer, here's where you would do that. Okay, the other thing that you might want to do sometimes is show people your formulas. Right now, we just have the answer. And when you went to print this 88% would show up, but the formula C4 divided by the absolute D10 wouldn't show up. So if I ask you to print your formulas, I'm going to ask you to go, there's a button right underneath the escape. It's got a little squiggly line on it. It's called an ampersand, I think. If you hit Control and that button, like I just did, your spreadsheet will come up with the formulas in. So you can print it like that. And if you keep hitting it, it's like a toggle. It'll go back and forth. Formulas, no formulas. Formulas, no formulas. Okay, so that's how you would show your formulas. Hope this was helpful, and the next series of Excel videos will be on how to make graphs in Excel.